Sweet. Okay, great. So yeah, thanks for having us on board. The folks from OALC and then also AWE. So I'm Baron, founder of ARWAY. I'm also here with my co-founder, Nick. And today we're going to go through just one of the demonstrations of our platform so far, the ARWAY kit, and yeah, really how we've been able to create an anchor location-based AR experiences. And yeah, this is one of our more recent projects that we've worked on. And we just want to go through kind of how, we're seeing evolution happen in mobile AR right now in terms of going from these tabletop experiences, QR codes, to now having these large scale AR pieces that are anchored around in cities. And now with 5G being around, I think that's going to be even more interesting. So yeah, this is our project with Guildhall. It was actually for the City of London. Yeah. Oh, did someone say something? Okay, no worries. So yeah, we'd love to just get straight into it. I think, Nick, you want to take it away from here and yeah, go through some of the maps they've created?
Sure. So with ARWAY, I mean, our goal was to build a SDK and a platform which enables persistence location AR. And we wanted to make a platform where you can basically anchor any AR content to a specific location and make that scalable and way easy for developers, for normal users. So that's how we designed this platform. It's still in beta, but it does all this tasks which it's supposed to do. And I'm showing this is one of our recent project with Builder, which Baram did mention.
Yeah, so this was in the City of London. So we partnered with Guildhall. Just a little insight. Guildhall is a like music school, and they have really creative folks over there who've actually helped design all these content pieces. And yeah, very simply using the ARWAY kit, they were able to anchor them at the city scale and make them come to life. So yeah, I think we're it'd be great to just get straight into how that happened, how we help them, and just an insight into us at ARWAY. So we started back in 2018, with AR Kit and AR Core coming out, really focused on just mobile AR. And yeah, scaled it. So, we found the problem of anchoring and location persistence being a big issue in the AR space. So we built an SDK. And actually recently we've joined forces with Nextech AR. And yeah, we have some more exciting stuff to showcase in the coming weeks. But so yeah, so far this is the platform we've built, still in beta, but we're excited to take it to the next stage. And yeah, just excited to show you guys what we have so far.
Sure. So I will just also give you an overview how our platform works. So basically, any developer or user who wants to create a persistent AR experience has to do mapping using our mapping apps, which can be downloaded or built from our SDK. So once they basically map any place, they get point cloud maps. So point cloud map is nothing but a visual representation of the site which you will basically map. So in this example, you can see I have a bunch of point cloud maps which I mapped from our mapping app. So once you basically map all your environment which you want your experience to be created, you can go into the web studio where you basically, it's more of a content creation tool where you will use your point cloud maps and other AR data such as a 3D model, image or text, and build the end experience. So in this, I can start with one of the maps which we built. So this is for a garden experience, which we are building right now. So once you load the map, we basically open the web studio, which is nothing but a lightweight web editor on the web, sort of kind of Unity, but just made for one purpose, which is persistence AR and how you can manage your 3D content in AR apps, and that can be updated real time in the apps. So this was the main goal of the
yeah, and again, the goal there was making it almost like a no code editor where you could just drag and drop your AR content in, and have it anchored on top of the maps you create. And yeah, the current flow for designing these kind of apps requires you to first map the place out, you know, either choose the web studio or Unity to place the content in, and then, you know, deploy the app. So, you know, with the SDK.
So in this particular project, what we used the combination of our Web Studio as well as the Unity. So we used Web Studio just to manage the point cloud maps and the localization, anchoring what we say, and then we use the Unity for placing the content. And because this particular project requires much more advanced content such as alpha videos and much more complex animation, so that's why we used a combination of our Web Studio as well as Unity, which are interlinked through which are interlinked with our SDK. So developers can link it with easily with the developers token which we provide. So in the web should you basically load your point cloud maps and you basically add any other content you want to basically show persistently in this location. So this is the garden which we mapped. So for example, if you want to show any virtual character here, you can just drag and drop a virtual character and place it anywhere in this model. And when you go and use our app, it will be there persistently across days and weeks. So that's the basic
Yeah.
concept of it. So for this particular project, we use the Unity for remaining of the content. And when we build out the app, I have the video of how does the final experience looks like. So let me play it from start. So this is the app which is built from our SDK.
Yeah, if it just loads in, maybe refresh the page.
Yes.
Yeah, I think if, yeah, Nick, can you show now?
Yeah, is it visible?
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, so basically, once you build out the app, which I showed, and place the content, you first localize and you basically place all those contents inside the real world. Here we used alpha videos and some alpha PNGs, which was anchored on top of the real world plants. You can see the virtual plants on top of real world.
Yeah, and what's really interesting about this is, yeah, I mean, because of how robust Unity is, we can just literally, and I think most AR developers relate to this as well. You can just very easily, you know, manage all the animations, or if you're doing anything specific there. And the main goal here was like, okay, if we're going to build these kind of large scale experiences, you know, the web platform just serves as a way to manage those maps, manage the point clouds. And then Unity is where really the content creation, like the deeper content creation can happen. I mean, for drag and drop, it can be done through the web studio, but yeah, I mean, Unity is like right now the most robust engine. We've looked into Unreal, but you know, I think most developers prefer Unity currently. But yeah, you can see like all the different animations. And this is, you know, like a larger scale, right? So this has really transformed from, you know, imagine 2 years ago, we were fascinated over these tabletop experiences, right? And now, you know, on any normal phone, this isn't even using 5G or anything, you can deploy these kind of experiences, which are amazing, right? And it's not even up to large studios or large, you know, development teams to do this. This is something any individual developer can create, right? With the right 3D assets, with the right 3D models, and the right idea, you can just pick up a toolkit like ours for free and, you know, create this kind of experience. So, and this is supported at like a city scale, right? So like this is only one of the experiences, right, Nick? You know, there's like four, 5 other experiences they created around London.
Yeah, there are. This is one of the example of how persistence AR can be used in this kind of experiences, entertaining experiences, basically layering physical information uh, accurately on
Yeah.
top of real world where you need them.
And the concept here was just a live event. So just a little explanation as to you know, their reasoning behind the project. So these city blocks around London, some of them are quite boring. And so I think it was a part of an initiative to kind of see if AR could be used to liven up and attract new folks and try something new for kind of bringing these places to life, because it's very gray and very dull. And so, yeah, you can also see how in just less than a couple seconds it gets a positioning. And so this specific experience was one of the attempts at doing pre-built like occlusion. You can see there's like hidden walls, almost like invisible walls. So the placement is still being adjusted. This isn't the final demo for this, but if you can imagine if it was angled just correctly, how lifelike that would be, as if there's an actual figure inside the sort of structure. So that way it really does blend the digital and physical world. But yeah, I mean, the best part about all of this as well is the fact that they own the map, right? So, with Guildhall and City of London, they were really pleased to use our tools just because the maps and the data around it, again, these are public spaces, sure, but they also had some concerns around data ownership and privacy. So, on our platform, they were able to ensure that, okay, I created my own AR cloud, and that AR cloud is owned by me. Or, I created my own, let's say, mini metaverse of London, and, I own the rights to that. It's not me doing the mapping for another company. It's not ARWAY collecting the data or owning the maps, simply just using the tools. And yeah, it's amazing the fact that any developer can do something like this, right? Great. And Nick, should we go into now kind of how the whole experience was built in terms of, what the point, I mean, we would look through the point cloud maps, but in terms of the content, if we can share maybe how development was done around there or anything else to kind of show an insight into like what the developer perspective is.
Sure. I think for that I might have to open the Unity actual project, so it might take a couple of minutes.
Yeah, no worries. You can stop sharing screen if you want.
Sure.
Great. Again, just to clarify, our SDK is still out. Welcome anyone to try it and build their own AR cloud experiences that they can own. Looks like we also have a question in chat as well. So we had someone ask, is there any way to use the SDK for web AR experiences? So this is actually very interesting. So web AR has been something that's been on our mind since last year. Now, we all know about 8th Wall, right? 8th Wall is probably I think the leader in web AR experiences right now. But web AR is something we've tried, and we've seen that actually on Chromium, right? So on Android devices, you could get working to some capacity, but the current issue with web AR is there isn't, and for us, like, we wouldn't just want to use, let's say, 8th Wall Slam on web AR, and Apple and Google, we're not too sure about their roadmaps if they're going into focus on these web AR experiences, because again, Apple has app clips, and we tried to speak to some of their developers, and they kind of mentioned how and hinted at the fact that they're not really going into web AR. So we built all of this on top of ARK and AR Core, right? So without ARK and AR Core, it would be very difficult for us to design our own SLAM from the ground up and make it scalable to billions of devices, right? So that's why we leverage ARK and AR Core. And it's the same problem with web AR, which is we can't do that same thing. And we don't ideally want to build our own SLAM for just web AR. So yeah, in short, we've looked into it, we've tried it. It's just not that stable enough, especially for large scale experiences. Web AR works perfect for like small scale, just look at something, see a tabletop experience. But for the kind of large scale experiences that we've worked on or helped developers with, it just doesn't scale. But I hope there, one day that could be solved, because sending a link to someone and having them use where they are is just very powerful. You know, you don't need to download an app. You don't need to do anything else. It's the perfect UX experience. Well, UX journey, but yeah, I think we'll just have to see what Apple and Google decide on that. And if we could just build on top of what they might come out with.
So yeah, I'm just sharing my screen again to show the process of how everything looks in Unity. So it's basically the same point cloud which I showed in Unity, showed in Web Studio earlier. And as I told, we have basically two options. Either you can use this point cloud in our Web Studio, or you can import this point cloud inside the Unity and do the content placement there. So for this particular project, since the content was advanced and it needed lots of animation, alpha channel videos, so that's why we chose Unity. And here you can see how the content placement looks like. So it's basically every content is layered correctly on top of point cloud, and what happens during after localization is this content is exactly at the specific location. So if I play the scene, make it appear. Yeah. You can see how the animation works and how the alpha channel works basically on top of the point cloud. So it basically gives a hint of exact content placement, and this is all actually real world scale. So the units in this is actually real world scale to the meters. So you can design the content with respect to real world scale. So if you want your PNG or your video to be 20-meter wide in stretch, you can do that.
Yeah. And what's really cool is with Unity, it's like your own virtual world, right? You get the map, and now it's like you're living in that virtual, metaverse in Unity. So you can literally design all of it, add everything in Unity, and then try and bring it back to life. And that's the main thing we do with augmented reality, right? Like try and bring this virtual world to life. Or you could also just take this kind of scan and just live inside of it, right? Like if you were to just say, oh, I'm going to scan the whole of London and I will have a digital replica of London and live in it in VR, for example. But yeah, I mean, this is the kind of, and I'm sure a lot of developers are already familiar with how to design these kind of scenes. And if you've been in game development previously, this should even be easier. But yeah, it's a very, very simple process. You really just use that point cloud map as your basis. That's like your canvas, and you just design around it. Great. So yeah, I think that's just a small insight into how it works on the development side. Well, from a developer's perspective. Again, we have a lot of tutorials on YouTube as well on how to actually get started using the ARWAY kit and using our platform. And yeah, I mean, the main thing to consider though is we've just recently also been acquired by Nextech. So we're actually going to be moving over a lot of our stuff onto their system. I mean, everything will still be up, but we will announce plans on what we will do next. And it's going to be more exciting because now we'll have finally more resources to work with and actually build what we want to build. Because previously, we've designed all this technology as a startup, rushing to market, building MVPs, beta products. But now we have a chance at making a fully fledged platform, a fully fledged product. And that's what me and Nick are most excited about. So it's going to be exciting over the next coming weeks to share all of this stuff with you guys. But yeah, that's our platform and that's the ARWAY kit so far. So feel free to get in touch if you need help with any projects on it. We're always happy to help. And again, our Discord community is open for everyone. So you can post questions or like connect with other developers on there. But yeah, that's what we're looking forward to. Letting you know the plans and literally what we're working on now. We can't tell you too much, but it's going to be exciting. And the metaverse is going to be a part of it. So can't wait.
It seems we have another question in chat.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to answer this, Nick?
Sure. So yes. So right now we do have both as a SLAM. I mean, we do have our in-house mapping and localization uh, techniques available. But what we have done is we have also integrated with other third-party SLAM providers, like one which we have right now, Azure Special Anchor. So we wanted our developers to have the best SLAM and best feature which they like for their particular use cases. That's why we wanted to build a sort of toolkit which sort of interacts with all other SLAM providers. So one SLAM can work with some of the use case, and other SLAM provider can work with the outdoors use cases. So that's why we give that choice to our developers. They can either use our in-house tech, which is still in development, or they can use an existing tech which they are already working, let's say Azure Special Anchors or Google Cloud Anchors in future, but use other features of ARWAY Kit, which is point cloud management, multi maps, and etc.
Yeah, and actually the main reason behind that was so we could actually, like make sure we're always ahead on the market, because again, the biggest issue, and we've seen slams being created even before ARK and ARK4 for mobile. But the biggest issue is just the fact that, like it doesn't always scale, and there's all sorts of challenges. So, with computer vision, I think it's more of like a global effort to bring it to life, right? I mean, there's research papers all the time, and new ways to localize and new ways to map places. I mean, we're starting to even see like drone mapping being used, and I think that's why we shouldn't just settle for one thing, or just say, oh, we're going to keep it closed-ended and just use our own system. Instead, we could just leverage all the other offerings and bring developers, right? Because we're developers ourselves, like bring developers kind of like a single hub where they could just tap and access any SLAM they want, any sort of resource they want. And that's why the Unity SDK is so perfect, right? You can put, we already have like example projects. So you guys can literally go onto our, download the SDK and choose one of the example projects and, do an indoor navigation experience in like a couple minutes, or, create a AR game, for example. So it just allows us to be, I guess, more fluid and adapt to all sorts of different use cases, whether it's indoors or outdoors. So you're not just limited to one thing. Whereas I guess if you were to talk about Niantic, they have a kind of different solution or different approach to that. They're just using their own ARDK, right? And keeping it as, okay, I'm doing the mapping. These maps are contributing to Niantic. Niantic owns the maps, and I just place my content in there. So we've taken more of like the pirate or hacker approach to it. But yeah, are there any other questions that we can answer in chat maybe?
That's it.
Again, there's so much more we'd like to share, but we're just not allowed to share so much because of next day. Oh, Janeric, he appreciates the pirate spirit we have as developers. Yes. Yeah, thank you, Ali. Perfect. But yeah, I think again, that was just like a brief showcase into just one of our more recent projects that we worked with, Guildhall and City of London. We thought that was pretty cool because it's outdoors, city scale, whereas a lot of our content so far has just been indoors, working on indoor navigation, indoor location experiences. But yeah, it's going to be really exciting to showcase what we have in store for everyone. It's just, again, we're still developing at it and still working on it. But yeah, again, really appreciate everyone listening in and yeah, being a part of the journey.
Thanks for a great presentation, Baran. And the best of luck going forward with all the stuff you're working on. And everyone here, remember, if you have more questions, there is the Discord channel, and both for this challenge and also inside of the Baran Discord.
Yeah, always Discord. You know, we're happy to take anyone in there. Again, you know, we're also active members of OpenAR Cloud. You know, we want to now also get closer with helping, not just with this challenge, but you know, any future endeavors, because I think we all see eye to eye on some of the privacy concerns and some of the issues around, okay, how are we going to build this, you know, AR, you could call it the AR cloud or the metaverse. How are we going to really design this all together? We don't want to just leave that to, you know, the big tech guys to do all of it. So I think it's going to be exciting the next couple of years. And yeah, I think we're going to see some really amazing developments happening. But yeah, happy to answer any questions from there and you know, support others with their projects. Because yeah, I mean, last couple of years we've definitely gone through tabletop to now all these crazy large scale experiences. So we've seen the whole evolution, and I think the next step is going to be like AR glasses, right? I mean, I think that's what we're all waiting for. But yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. So yeah, thank you everyone. I always say live long and prosper. There are more going to be more presentations next week, so come back and enjoy. See you around.
Thanks everyone.